You know, many times in my life, I've been referred to as a knuckle-dragging troglodyte. Well merited as well. I'm kind of stupid sometimes. I mean, that's just the way of the game. But in caveman times, I'd have been destroyed. I would have, like, Cro-Magnons and, like, those guys are, like, freaks. Like, freaks of nature that just, like, would destroy me in a heartbeat.
I feel like, you know, we would have been raised much differently. I mean, honestly, I have terrible eyesight, so I'd probably be dead by now. I mean,
well,
things are pretty different back in the day.
Although when I was in shape, I didn't really have asthma as bad. So I mean, might not have had asthma at that point.
maybe.
I was mostly good in shape all the time.
Go ahead.
I just thought maybe I could like weave nets and fish or something.
Probably, yeah. You could be a forager and a hunt and a sort of like a not the word I'm looking for, but not scavenger, but a
Gatherer.
Hunt, yeah, the hunter gatherer society. You'd probably be more in lines of a gatherer. I guess me, where I'm big. I guess they just like throw me to the bear as like a decoy, and I'd try and run my fat ass away, and they'd kill the bear.
I don't think you'd be fat if you were a caveman. I just don't think
no, and I probably wouldn't be, but at the same time, where I'm big, like they'd probably just like be like, "Go, you easy target, get eaten." Like, okay.
Well, so
it'd be like you pin down the saber-toothed tiger while we stab with spears.
So
please don't stab me.
Humans have always been smart, and so they would actually hunt. They would just like run things to exhaustion because we dissipate heat better than anything.
Yeah, lack of fur does that.
And you know we can run on 2 legs. We don't have to power 4. So literally, like, you know, you just get a group of people together with spears, and you like run something off, and then like it has to stop and like recover, and then you just keep running.
Well, it's like mastodons. I mean, mastodons, they used to bog them down,
yeah,
trap them, and then like
so
kill them very slowly.
A human, like, you know, can literally like run to the point that would like kill a horse from heat exhaustion. I mean, we're just like, you know, in a lot of ways
we're built to do. Yeah.
We're bad at everything, but we're the most efficient at everything. So
it's a weird paradox that we've got in terms of our species.
Yeah,
and well, there's that comparison. Well, there's a comparison of that, and there's also, you know, where this is Gennady Tartakovsky's Primal is what we're going to be watching today. We're going to be checking out the first 2 episodes of it, see where it stands, and you know, everyone has said that this show is friggin' amazing. I've seen some of the trailers for it, some of the artwork. It's Gennady Tartakovsky. I mean, Samurai Jack. So you know quality's going to be good. Plus, everyone out there has said like this is the best new animated thing to come out of last year, easily. That's what a lot of people have been saying, just because of just its story flow and its characters. So, my whole thing with this is I've been anticipating this for quite some time. And when I heard it was going to be a limited run, I actually just found this out. They said they were only going to do 1 season. It's going to be 10 episodes. They did 5 episodes last year, and they did 5 episodes this year. They just finished up, I believe. But now, they just got approved to do another season. So, yeah.
I'm almost more favorable to limited series, because that gives the creator, like, I'm going to tell my story. It's going to be good. There's no pressure to like keep coming up with stuff and force it, and then you see that decline.
Yeah, you start to see the thinning out of the storyline,
the syndication decline,
which does suck. But at the same time, it's like if the creator is someone like Tartakovsky, who keeps coming up with like amazing plot lines and stuff like that, if you've got a good team around him, he could come up with some amazing stuff. We'll have to see. But the first episode, Spear and Fang. The other parable that people told me to look, to really think about this is one you're a big fan of, Conan the Barbarian, which
it does.
When you look at the caveman in this and what he looks like and everything, it looks exactly like the illustration that they had drawn out years and years ago. But this series I'm excited about. I want to see what it's going to be like, and let's just get into it. This Season 1, Episode 1, Spear and Fang. Here we go. A good kill.
He's trying to catch something a lot bigger than that, I guess.
Either that or he's just gathering them and putting them back in the water to preserve them. It's not wise to leave them above water where the flies can get at them. Whoa! Hello.
No, that's a lot bigger.
Yeah, that is something a lot bigger.
I just thought of Nick Cage in Between Worlds. Should have fought a man-gator. So he's kicking the crap out of the guy.
That's a big protocroc. Look at that thing.
A little Sarcosuchus action.
Look at that thing. Good God, that's massive.
Maybe he wasn't trying to catch the croc. He was just waiting for more fish when the croc showed up.
Well, croc probably smelled blood in the water and was just like, oh, free food. Oh, a little fire burning in the distance. I didn't notice that first time I saw that.
Freaking Quetzalcoatlus, man. I think there's like an 18-foot tall bird just flying around back in the day.
That's a strange thing about nature, man. I mean, you know, you see like the evolutionary process of like the Tyrannosaurus Rex and where, you know, it has effectively gone now. By comparison, it's just like, well, now you're a chicken.
Crap. Holy cow.
Damn.
Oh. Uh-oh. Ooh. In a bad spot there, big boy. Oh, that's a big one. It's like a hunting party. You gotta think it's one of the worst things that could happen, especially back then. Not only do you lose your brood, but you lose your mate, and thus potentially your will to live as well.
Oh, now he's blind.
I stare at sun too long, now I blind. I blind by rage.
No.
Yeah, leave him be. Uh-oh. It's pretty much the same deal.
Yeah. Nice.
Oh! They got the wheels. Oh!
Brutal.
Dang.
A little off the top. Jesus. Right while she bucks.
I mean, say what you want, but at least we can scratch our nose.
This is true.
Stab him in the eye.
Ooh, clean shot.
Those are probably just the three little ones, though, and now the big one's going to be pissed.
Yep.
Oh.
Oh.
Aw. What a sweetie. Nope. Easy. Oh, you were... You said it, Nick.
Holy cow.
One shot.
Oh.
Oh.
Hey, desperate times, right? I mean, work together. Right in the eye. Come on. Oh! Oh, man. Oh. Okay. Our boy's a dino rider now, baby. I mean,
I knew from what I'd seen about the show that he became friends with a dinosaur somehow. I just wasn't sure how.
yeah.
Now I know.
Well, now we know, yeah. So, now, I take Spear and Fang. I get it now. Spear is the caveman and Fang is the dinosaur. So that's cool. I like that. So, no dialogue.
Nope.
None. Just roars, grunts, and facial expressions. And honestly, damn.
That was depressing as crap.
Well, I mean, you got to think, savage world is this. I mean, there's going to be a lot of heartache. I mean, a more civilized world that we live in now, I mean, you know, we cry over things that seem pretty tragic, but back then, stuff that we are sad about now was commonplace. I mean, it really makes you question, you know, the condition of humanity and, you know, how we've changed over time. You know, what our brains have become conditioned to, given the fact that, you know, we nurse ourselves with, you know, all the stuff that comes with this.
And we're living in an age where people cry and whine about their lives changing to be slightly more inconvenient to them because we have a global pandemic going on. Whereas, like, back in caveman days, like, freaking Carnotaurus clan could have came in and ate your fucking wife and kids. Then how you feel?
Well,
a lot worse, I bet.
Well, yeah. Well, you got to think, as history is... Everyone keeps talking about it's like, oh, I wouldn't want to have a kid now. Now's the worst time possible to ever have a kid. I'm like, are you serious?
Caveman time's probably the worst time.
Well, caveman times plus the time of plagues, times of conquest, times of just absolute insanity, like, throughout history.
There's never been a good time to have kids. Like, basically, like, there's always been things throughout history that are reasons that you could come up with to not.
I say this with the utmost respect to children, but they are a burden. Every time, like, throughout history, like, in life, they are a burden, you know, especially when they're born and you have to take care of them growing up. and then one little thing goes wrong and they get sick and they die. And that's early on. Later on, when they're able to fend for themselves and take care of themselves to a certain degree, and they're able to, pick up stuff and help out, like, that's the majority of the reason why people had kids back in the day, free labor. That's how it was.
Well, I mean, no birth control.
Well, that too. But that's one of the main things with this that I'm picking up is that
Honestly, I still think people use kids for free labor to an extent. Like, when you have kids, you make them do chores and shit around the house.
Well, I mean,
they don't get to live there for
kind of. Well, if I ever have kids, I'm gonna make them do chores that, stuff that they're responsible for. It's like, oh, so you got that plate down and you made food on it. And now you're just gonna leave it sitting there on the table. Nuh-uh. You're picking it up. You're taking it over to the sink and you're washing it off, and then you're putting it in the dishwasher. Because that's what a responsible person does.
If I ever have kids, when they get old enough to do chores, like, I'm totally passing off shit that I don't ever want to do to them all the time.
Okay, so starting now, you're going to be editing 3 videos a week.
Not like that. I'm talking like you're going to wash all of the dishes in the sink every day if you want your allowance. If you want to hang out with your friends, that's what you have to do. You have to pay me for it.
Well, I don't know about that. I mean,
you have to earn your keep somehow.
My number one thing I would teach is what my parents taught me: personal responsibility. Just like take responsibility for the stuff that you've done. For instance, whenever I broke something and I tried to pass it off on something else, it's just like, I didn't know it was going to do that. I didn't know it was going to do that. My dad would immediately cut through the bullshit and just be like, no, you did. You just didn't want to listen. Take responsibility for what you've done, own up to it, and then we can move on. How's that sound? To which I was just like, I had to push my lip out, just like, okay, yeah, because as a kid you don't want to admit that you did something wrong, because by you admitting that you did something wrong, that implies guilt, and guilt weighs heavily on people. But when kids understand that guilt is just something that you can accept, learn, and move on from, and you learn these mistakes early, you're not going to be doomed to make these mistakes later. And it's so easy to do that when their kids are young, but when they get older, to them, like teenage years, consequences, like, what the hell are those? It's like, I'm gonna go out and just like do whatever the heck I want. Oh crap, 16 and I got a girl pregnant.
There's people that never learn stuff like that.
This is true, but I really wish
people that still can't take responsibility for their mistakes or anything. Like, it's always somebody else's fault.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate, but you can only do the best with what you have available. In which, my parents got divorced and everything. In which they did the best they could. I'm not gonna sit here and complain about the life I had. I've had a pretty good life. I'm not gonna lie, but having that responsibility ideology instilled into me as a kid stuck with me, and I think that's why I've mostly stayed away from like doing as stupid. Don't get me wrong, I do plenty of stupid things, but I don't have a bunch of kids running around. I don't. I'm not like popping pills all the time. I'm not. I'm not like stealing from people and making excuses. I own up to when I make mistakes. I mean, that's just a basic thought pattern for me. And with this, I mean, back in the day, when either you learn from your mistakes or you friggin' die. I mean, heck, sometimes you don't even get a chance to learn from your mistakes.
Yeah, sometimes one mistake is all it takes, and you're done.
Yeah, and everyone you know and love is done too. So that's another thing.
In a world like that, it can happen even if you don't make any mistakes.
Well, this was a depressing first episode, but
yeah,
at least they both got their revenge in some way. They took down that big bastard.
Well, too, and it's like you don't know if he feels any guilt, because would the big ones have like come around if he hadn't like jumped in on him and made the mom like roar to try and scare him off? Did that attract the others? Like,
that's what I'm thinking too. Either that, or the smell of fish. That's another thing too that might have attracted. I don't know. There's multiple things that could have been because what led them to the human family. Not sure. I think maybe it was the fire. maybe that led them.
No,
to
I mean, I'm sure they're just prowling around hunting anyway. I mean, I don't know what these things are. They're clearly taking a lot of liberties. It's a fantasy show, but I mean,
yeah,
like things like the T-Rex had, you know, other than the turkey vulture, had like the largest olfactory organ of any creature that ever existed, so it could smell anything it wanted to for miles. I mean, just, you know, so you probably didn't have to do anything to get found out by these things, whatever they are. Even though the big ones, like a super ceratosaurus, because they'll have horns. I don't know.
I don't know. There's again creative liberties.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
this
Oh,
is,
it's clearly fantasy. Like,
yeah, but this is
I was thinking it was maybe like Carnotauruses, but they just, you know, didn't draw the arms scientifically accurate.
yeah.
Exactly.
Well, so ceratosaurus had like the nose thing going on. A Carnotaurus usually had like the, you know, devil eyebrows. So,
Yeah,
so it's kind of like, I mean, but it's obviously a fantasy show, like,
Yeah.
you know. But I think his pal, the mom, is like a T-Rex, sort of.
I think so. Like a
T-Rex or an Allosaurus.
Snaggle. Well, it's got two. So
yeah, it's got the
makes me
the
think
claws.
T-Rex, like a snaggletooth, like a miniature snaggletooth T-Rex.
yeah. Maybe it's like a fret, like one that's just able to finally breed, like very very young female T-Rex. So I guess, yeah, I don't know. Keep in mind it's just the first episode.
Yeah.
A hell of a
So,
first
I mean,
episode.
Like, from some other things I've seen, I definitely know that they may not be going 100% like definite with any kind of
Oh yeah, yeah.
you know, species and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's obviously fantasy. I mean, because humans and dinosaurs never coexisted. Like, that's just so clearly fantasy. You know.
It's a scary thought, though. Scary thought.
I mean, I think it's awesome. I love Cadillacs and dinosaurs. Like, that's my jam. I think we'd be better off if we had pet dinosaurs.
Oh, it'd be awesome. Could you imagine? Like the commute to work? It'd be awesome.
Reminds me of a video I saw a long time ago. I don't know if you guys ever seen, where the guy's like in his kitchen and he's like opening the cabinet and getting something out. He had set a bowl like over on the side, like with cereal in it or whatever, and like he closes the cabinet, looks over, and he's like, "Oh!" And it's like he's got like a pet velociraptor, and it's just standing there.
Yes.
And it just like starts to slide the bowl. And he's like, "No!" It's like,
No.
"No!" He just keeps being like, "No!"
That
Finally, it just like, and he's just like.
That would be a good pet, because like actual velociraptors were like the size of a golden retriever. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn. It. So again, everyone, this was the first episode of Primal, Spear and Fang. So I guess we're gonna see what happens next. But for now, that's gonna do it. So I guess until next time, signing off. I'm Nate.
Micah.
I am Nick.
We'll see you then, everybody. Peace out.